Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Zero Disrespect podcast. We are in the second episode of season 4. We're kind of taking a little break here and there. You know, some of it was us messing up and forgetting which day we're doing it. Other parts, we were just busy trying to get ahead of our school schedule. But we are back nonetheless, and happier than ever to be back.
Zeta Delta Pi.
That's right. As always, I'm joined by my co-host Wyatt Oxley. I'm Isaac Calvert. Wyatt, how you doing?
Doing all right. Finally, starting to get over the damnedest cough we've ever had.
Yeah. That's what we were doing. We were waiting for you to get over the cough.
Yeah. Well, I sound a lot better now. And I feel a lot better.
Definitely.
Last time we did this, I sounded like I could, murder your family. But,
If you or a loved one have suffered from mesothelioma, you might be entitled to financial compensation.
And they should have given me my money.
Yes, like you should have called J.G. Wentworth at that point.
877 cash now.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Not a sponsor, but
give me my money.
Give me my. Speaking of money, I just want to say, I don't know if any of you were at the Vanderbilt game, but I made the most expensive shot of the night, and I'm still reeling from that. Still haven't got my money yet. Maria Montgomery, Ravi Moss, if you're listening to this, you owe me $1,000. Okay. I just want to make that clear. Nonetheless,
it's a very demanding shout out.
Exactly.
Shout out to you, by the way. You owe me $1,000.
Exactly. It's what's your positive face? Is that what it is?
Negative face.
Negative face.
Negative face.
Yeah. So it's like explain this to us.
So positive face is putting yourself in a likable way. Just be like, oh, I'm a funny person. Damaging your positive face to be like, well, you're not funny. You haven't said anything that's funny at all. Negative face is trying to come across as independent.
Yeah.
So if I say oh, I'm a free thinker, I do what I want, and then somebody is like, hey, go take the trash out, or hey, go do this work for me, that's taking away their negative face.
Yeah, exactly.
Just took an exam, got a 94. So
there we go. I like it. Communicate. How do you like your major so far?
I like it a lot. I have so much free time.
Yes.
So I was talking to Haley the other day.
Yes.
She's an ISC major. For those of you that don't know, it's Integrated Strategic Communications.
Yes.
Same college as I am. And I was like, Haley, am I supposed to have this much free time? She's like, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Because I'm used to having all these damn science classes.
Mm-hmm.
And
all these
exams every other week.
Lab reports.
Every other week. And now I'm just I don't have any work to do.
Should I take a nap again?
Should I go play video games? What should I do?
I've been playing video games this semester. That's something I haven't done in my college career. I was because I've had to I only play video games on winter and summer breaks or spring break. I never played video games, and now I'm regularly playing NBA 2K, just different games like that. So it feels really good to have some free time.
Well, also the classes that I'm in now, I feel like I'm actually. I wouldn't say that I don't feel like I'm getting things out of the classes that I was in before, but I feel like the stuff that I'm learning about now is oh, that makes sense. For example, talking about in one of my media classes, how, on the first day of my mass communications class or mass media, the teacher said, you are part of the media, you just don't get paid for it.
Exactly.
And media consumption is something I think he said the average American consumes between 5 and 8 hours of media every day.
Well, especially nowadays with social media, you are pretty much the reporter in some instances. It seems too. You see something on Twitter, you spread that, and then other people spread that too. So it's just everybody sees something. In today's society with social media, it's impossible not to be caught up with the news. So unless you live under a rock, no internet, no cell phones whatsoever, if you're still reading a newspaper to get your news, you might be getting maybe 1 to 2 hours. but yeah, that's.
Well, even then you're still consuming stuff.
Exactly.
But said David Stevenson.
Yes.
From
photojournalist.
Yep, photojournalist. He's a legend.
Yeah, he's a professor at the University of Kentucky as well.
He said that in his talk, he said that the average person sees about 5,000 images every day.
That's insane.
You don't even think about it either. When you Google search something and look at images, even then you're looking at hundreds of photos at once.
Yeah, exactly. A glance.
Yeah, Twitter,
especially scrolling through Instagram. I didn't even think about that because unless you're scrolling rapidly, it seems you're you're still seeing those pictures. It seems like so. But speaking of that, like we're going to kind of touch on the little Kobe Bryant situation here. So we saw, in case you haven't gotten your media consumption here recently, Kobe Bryant and his daughter and 7 other people recently passed away in a helicopter crash in Calabas, California, about west Los Angeles, something around there. Tragic event. It hit home with me. But I was sitting with Wyatt eating lunch on it was the day of his death, and my brother sent me a text message, and it said, "I hope this TMZ article is like incorrect, or is like not true or a hoax." And then I get on Twitter and I refresh the page, and literally every tweet that I saw about 50 of them, and it was just like, oh, why is this happening? Like, rest in peace, Kobe, and stuff like that. And it's like that's just what made me think of that too. Like, it's still like surreal. It's like so surreal that he's gone.
I mean, a guy like Kobe, he impacted so many people in so many different ways. He won what, 6? It was 5 or 6 championships.
5 championships.
5 championships, and he was an 18.
3 in a row and 2 in a row.
Yeah, like an 18-time All-Star. I think it was. Mm-hmm. So, and also he was starting. What was the
2-time MVP as well.
Well, that, but also like, what was the new business he was just getting started on?
Oh, like charity, his Mamba Academy.
Yeah,
for like little, like for girls basketball.
Yeah, he was just getting that started, and now that he passed away, like, who's going to continue that?
Yeah, that's the rough thing too, is because as a Lakers fan, like, that really affected me too, just because he's somebody I grew up watching. I got into, and ESPN is on the TV right now, and we see Dick Vitale talking to a young Kobe Bryant when he was a McDonald's All-Star. But, I remember I played my brother, it was before I got into the NBA, pretty much. And I think I was 6 or 7 years old. And we had an old Super Nintendo, and it had, like, NBA All-Stars 97 or something like that. And Kobe Bryant was on the game, and the Lakers were wearing like their throwback, like Minneapolis jersey, like the blue jerseys. Yep. And so that's how I got into Kobe, because like I couldn't miss with him on that game, and I beat my brother playing the game, as a 6 or 7 year old. And like, that's pretty cool, especially with beating your older brother who's 8 years older than you. You feel something. So like, I felt like a personal connection to Kobe just from playing a game, and then
of course,
and then just watching him too. It was just he did, like, when he stepped on the court, like, it kind of reminds me of like what Kawhi Leonard's doing right now, like, take no prisoners but make no friends, and like, he just like, and it's that Mamba mentality or whatever you want to call it. I think it was just Kobe.
His presence on the court is similar to Tom Brady's presence on a football field.
Yes,
he's one of these guys that is built for clutch moments, and once they get going, it's over.
Exactly. Yeah.
And I wouldn't go as far to say that LeBron James is the equivalent of, or he's on his level. Mm-hmm. But Kobe was one of these guys in sports, and to pick a sport, when they he's one of these guys that can just take over.
Oh yeah, no, without a doubt.
Excuse me, but it's an awful loss for the basketball community, for the NBA and
just sports in general.
Yeah,
too.
For sports in general. It wasn't supposed to happen that way.
Yeah.
I think all of us can agree on that.
Yeah.
But we lost a legend. We did.
Without a doubt. And I mean, I'm a Lakers fan. You're a Celtics fan. You're wearing your Celtics. Your Celtics apparel right now, but like, regardless of like who you root for, like, let's say, like, this is a horrible example because I'm not comparing Kevin Ware to Kobe Bryant whatsoever, but when Kevin Ware broke his leg, I think we all became like kind of backed Louisville at one point or another, just because it was like such a, like, it was a horrible incident that happened to him. So we were all kind of like, as much as we hate Louisville, like, we were kind of rooting for him. It seemed like I didn't want him to win it all, but like
You're rooting for him, not the team.
yes, exactly. So, but like it's just like seeing like the whole entire like sports world just come together, like not to be Lakers fans, but to be Kobe fans,
Well, a little bit more on that Kevin Ware thing. We actually learned I had an athletic training class last semester, and we were talking about, we're doing like, the special test on the field. And the first thing that you rule out when you go out there is a fracture of the tibia.
Yeah.
And my teacher was showing us videos of stuff, and he said that what happened with Kevin Ware was really one of the first times in the medical community where you had a non-contact tibial break.
Yeah. That's terrifying.
Yeah.
Like, just like that pressure coming down, like, too. Like, the way, and it didn't even look like he came down all that hard either.
No. I mean, I've played sports before. I've come down like that plenty of times.
Yeah,
I've never
exactly.
had that happen.
Yeah.
I guess it's just kind of one of those things where, wrong place, wrong time. It's kind of
exactly.
pressure. I mean, I've torn my knee up plenty of times on things that, you play that situation over 1,000 times. It doesn't, 9,999 of them.
Yeah,
I don't get hurt.
Yeah, exactly.
So
it's a freak accident.
But back to Kobe. Like I said, we lost a legend. And did he get inducted into the Hall of Fame?
Not yet. He's gonna be. He's gonna be this next year.
Now, isn't it 5 years you had to be out?
See, I think what it was is, I think it's 4. And this is his 4th year. And so, well, no, it may be 5 because he was. If it's next year, then it would be 5.
Because I know in baseball and football, I think it's 5.
It might, yeah, I guess it's 5 then because next year will be his 5th year. But he was up there with I think it was him. It was Kobe Bryant, Ray Allen, and Tim Duncan, who were all like the first ballot Hall of Famers. And like, what a Hall of Fame class that would have been. I feel like he would have
Absolutely.
I feel like he would have given the greatest speech, like in sport, one of the greatest in sports history, just because, anytime he spoke, it seemed just like it was like an inspirational message of some sort.
He was a very powerful public speaker. That's for sure.
And we'll sum it up because everybody's heard like, we miss Kobe. We'll give tributes to him. He obviously he was my sports hero growing up, and but like I've never like physically like cried over a death of somebody that I've never met before. Like I've been to funerals of people that I have never met, and like I didn't cry. Yeah. But this time I did, and like it was a little rough just because they played his 81-point game on ESPN, and like I remember watching that as a 16-year-old, and like I went berserk because at the same time that game, it was the same night the Warriors were going up against I forget who they were, but it was about to be their 73rd win if they win the game, which breaks the 95-96 Bulls record from 72-10
I'm trying to think who they would have played. Was it the Jazz maybe?
Lakers played the Jazz that night.
Oh.
Yeah. See, I thought it sounds like they should play the Jazz though for some reason, but
yeah.
But I remember watching that game. They played it again. It was just it was emotional. But I will say this: the sports world lost somebody great, and it's gonna be hard going forward. But I think what the NBA is doing right now, just to pay tribute to such a legend of the game and the sports world in general, it's just mad ton of respect.
So it's been a tough year. We've lost. Last summer we lost Jared Lorenzen, and
yes,
I know that he's not on the level of Kobe Bryant, but he did touch a lot of people's lives, especially among the people that listen to us and the fan base. But
yeah, I was about to say the entirety of the state of Kentucky, it was a little rough.
Mm-hmm. But you got anything else on Kobe?
Rest in peace, Mama. Rest in peace, Gianna, and all the rest of the victims. And I hope their families find peace. And I hope that I thoughts and prayers to Vanessa and the rest of the Bryant family. So, you got anything else, Wyatt?
I'm good.
All right. Well, ladies and gentlemen, we're gonna get off this rather touchy subject. Not really touchy, just emotional, more or less. We're gonna hop into what we usually. Yes, we're gonna hop into what we usually talk about on the podcast. And that's Kentucky sports, right?
Yep.
And it's always
what you people came to listen to.
That's right. That's what you came to listen for. You came to listen to college students give their opinions whether they're different or not. So, but let's hop into it. Main topic at this point for today is currently 4:57. The Wildcats are taking on Auburn here in about an hour and 3 minutes. Hour and 13 if you count like all the national anthem.
I
and all
thought
that.
it was 5:30.
6.
6?
6. Yeah. So we're good.
I want to cut that part out.
Yeah. Hey, we're good. We're good. But yeah, they take on the Auburn Tigers. We'll get into them here in a second. But I just want to talk about their road trips these past 2 weekends. They went into Arkansas, a tough place to play, regardless of the team. But like anytime Kentucky goes on the road, it's the other team's Super Bowl. Like I don't know what it is about the fact that they're facing Kentucky, that they have a chance to beat Kentucky, who is a household name. They're a blue blood in the national, in the NCAA. But what did you think the past couple weekends when they went on the road to tough places to play? SEC and Big 12 teams.
I think that, since our last podcast, in our last podcast, we previewed Arkansas.
Mm-hmm.
And that was kind of one of those, that might be one of the weirdest games I've seen Kentucky play all year.
That one was very different.
Was that the game that we hit the 3 at half, or right before the half, or was that Texas Tech?
That was Texas Tech.
But anyway, we had a little run going at the end of the first half against Arkansas, and then coming out of the half, we came out, on fire. We went up on like a 10-0 run.
Yeah.
Excuse me, and I think we were up by 14 at one point.
What, on Arkansas or Texas?
Yeah, Arkansas.
Yeah.
We were up by 12 to 14 points, somewhere around there.
Yeah, we had a steady lead.
Yeah, then we let them come back and tie it, and then Coach Cal got tossed, and Kentucky just completely took over after that.
I remember watching that game. We were all in here. We were all watching it, and I was just saying, this is a good thing. This is a really good thing that he got ejected. It's going to light a fire under the feet of these players, and nonetheless, it did. And they walked away. And I think they've been playing with a lot more intensity, every game since then. It seems like because they know they almost lost to Arkansas, so it's like they got to step something up.
Well, I've said, basically ever since the Utah game, that the way that Kentucky wins is they have to play hard.
Yeah.
And they have to play intense. They can't win. Well, how do I want to word this? I would say they can't just come out and expect to beat teams off of talent alone.
Yeah.
Does that make sense?
Yes, exactly. Yeah.
Have you ever seen Miracle on Ice or the Miracle the movie, where he's like, "Fellas, you can't win off talent alone."
Yeah.
Yeah, it's the same thing.
Exactly. Yeah. And that's. Go ahead. Sorry to interrupt.
It's like they when they played Louisville.
Mm-hmm.
That was a pretty evenly matched game.
Yeah.
But it was the hardest game I've seen Kentucky play, or the most intense I've seen them play in a couple years. Yeah. No, it's. I guess you get the hardest game that they've played since that time. I'd say was during the tournament, 2016. It was De'Aaron Fox's year against UCLA and Lonzo Ball's team. That was, I agree, that was one of the more intense games I've seen him play since that time. And usually, and that's not saying that they haven't played hard. It's just that either they've lost close games or just been, had blowouts, it seems like. So, yeah, I can agree. And especially with Nick Richards having 4 fouls with 10 minutes left in the game and just powering through Louisville and Jordan Nora in the offense was just insane. And it was a spectacular sight to see. But the point of what I'm saying is they figured out that the key for them to win is they have to, go ham.
Okay.
The only problem with that is, and what I do like about this team is they are not afraid to be physical. Yeah. This is the most physical Kentucky team that they've had since I've been here.
That's what we've needed too.
Yeah. The only problem with that is they get themselves in foul trouble.
Yes.
Foul trouble has been a problem all year.
Oh yeah.
And but luckily, the other teams that we've been playing against can't hit free throws, so that helps.
Yeah.
On to Texas A&M.
Texas Tech.
Texas Tech. Yeah. I mean, that was a good Texas Tech team we played, and that was a really tough arena that we played in. It was an emotional win because it went into overtime, and I feel like I wouldn't say it was a hangover, but when we played at Vanderbilt last Wednesday, they played awful in the first half.
Yeah, I was at that game. They looked just lazy. Like and it could be the fact that they have traveled the past couple weekends.
Yeah, it's kind of an emotional hangover.
Yeah, so like, I think that's. But comeback cats. That's what we're known for. Second half team as usual. But yeah,
Vanderbilt's not good either.
Yeah, that's the thing.
Vanderbilt hasn't won an SEC game since March of 2018.
Yeah, no, it's rough. It's rough for them. They have not done very well for themselves. I'm trying to find out what the size of Texas Tech's arena is.
I think it's capacity around 20,000.
Because I know it was sold out. Okay. Texas Tech's basketball arena. Because for Auburn today, I know that, and we'll get more into Auburn later, but they only seat about 9,000. So it's kind of like Cameron Indoor a little bit, but just a tad bit bigger. Because I think Cameron Indoor is about 6,000.
Wait. Auburn's basketball stadium only holds 9,000 people?
Mm-hmm.
Well,
we're looking at it on the TV, and it doesn't look like it's 9,000. It looks like a lot more, but
I bet like with all those people though, it gets really, really loud in there though.
oh, without a doubt, that's what makes Cameron Indoor so insane, because it's just a small confined space, and everybody's getting so loud and all that, and like Texas Tech holds 15,000, so
probably sounded like 25,000.
Yeah, that. I will give Texas Tech credit for this. Mm-hmm. I have nothing against. Like, I read some things that their fans were like spitting on Kentucky fans, had to be thrown out. But for the most part, I think Texas Tech they were a very good fan base, and you could tell by the way they loved their team.
Yeah.
Take notes, Rupp Arena season ticket holders, aka all the old people who never stand up. And I'll get into this here in a second too. But that crowd was just incredible,
mm-hmm.
and they probably scared the hell out of Kentucky at first. Walking in there, just seeing them, because they were moving with their hands over the other person's back, and they were just moving.
Swag surf.
The swag surf, yes, thank you. And it just looked in. I would not want to be there as a Kentucky fan. I wouldn't have wanted to be there. I would be scared for my life. So I can only imagine what it was like playing on.
So on that night. A little like factoid on the swag surf.
Yes.
Texas A&M does the same thing in football. Imagine that.
Oh yeah,
with over 100,000 people doing it at once.
That's insane.
Yeah,
that's and like plus the music blaring out.
Because Texas A&M's football stadium is like 105,000.
Yeah, no, it's. I remember them doing it for the Kentucky game, not this past season, but 2 seasons. Like not Benny Snell's last year. Mm-hmm. That's what I'm trying to say. And like it was insane seeing that. So
I think that and this is kind of a separate issue. I think that the university needs to do a much better job at making the home games hype. That might be a podcast for another time. But I have some opinions on how, how they market some of the things to the fans, and that's a separate issue.
Exactly.
But back to the issue at hand. Texas Tech, tough place to win. They went in there and they got it done.
Yes. Nick Richards just killed it that game too.
It was 25 points?
Yeah, yes. 25 points.
25, 14 and 14?
14 rebounds, and I think 5 blocks, I'm pretty sure. Something like that. Something along those lines.
It was 7.
7 blocks. That's what it was. It was 7.
Yeah.
He was the first person to do that since Anthony Davis was here. So just comparing those 2 numbers and those 2 players, I'm pretty excited for what March has to hold and for the rest of the season in general. I'm especially excited to see what Kentucky can do against Auburn today. So let's go ahead and let's just hop into them real quick. Just great win. They've had 2 insane road wins, the past 2 weekends with Arkansas and Texas Tech. Texas Tech went to the championship last year. And so it
Auburn went to the Final Four.
Exactly. This is a revenge game, too, for us, it seems like. Just because of the way that our season ended last season was to Auburn and Bruce Pearl. And what happened is we turned the ball over a lot, and we could not hit free throws. Ashton Higgins turned the ball over and did not play well.
He had 7 turnovers, I think.
I think it was 7 or 7 or 8.
7 turnovers, and couldn't hit free throws, and they played harder than we did.
Yes, they wanted it more than we did.
Yeah.
And I've always heard the saying, it's hard to beat a team 3 times. It's possible.
It's
very
easy.
hard. It's very hard, especially in March Madness when everybody wants it more than you. It seems like, you gotta want it more than them, but they have the same mentality that you do. Like they probably want it more than me, but I want it more than them. So, but it's a brand new season, brand new teams for that matter. Auburn has way new players. They don't have Bruce Brown, Chuma Okeke anymore, or Jared Harper. They
still got Bruce Pearl as their head coach. He's still good. I know that there are a lot of people that don't like him, but he's good.
I respect him. I respect Bruce Pearl.
I think he's a good coach.
I respect him for leaving the Tennessee program.
Well, Tennessee was a mess when he left.
Exactly. So. Like I've been saying this for a few weeks now, but it was ever since we beat them number 1. I've hated Tennessee basketball more than I have Louisville, and that's saying something too. Like I love a good SEC matchup, and the fact that we play them twice a year rather than once a year, despite being in the tournament or whatever, I love that we get to face them twice a year, and hopefully beat them twice a year. Maybe we've been doing that for quite a while, but they beat us twice last year, once in the SEC tournament.
They beat us twice the year before.
Did they? Yeah, that's right. They did.
Like my freshman year, I remember. And this is kind of off topic, but I remember my freshman year, we went down there, we got kicked around, and then when we played them here, it was like on a Tuesday or Wednesday night. We had like a 5-point lead with a minute to go, and we lost.
Yep.
Do you remember this?
Yes, I do.
I remember I was in Willie T, like doing homework, and I heard about it, and I'm like, y'all, I told you this group was pathetic.
Yeah, and you were very, very critical about that Kevin Knox team
because they were. This is a separate issue, and I'm not going to say anything more about it after this. I'm convinced that team did not care.
Oh no, they want to go to the NBA. That's all it was.
Yeah, Jared Vanderbilt. Come on.
Yeah.
Don't sit there and tell me that you went to the University of Kentucky when you didn't want to be here in the first place and you played 5 games.
Exactly.
Like, don't give me that.
Some Khalil Whitney stuff, but that's for another topic.
Yeah,
but anyway,
he's not going to make it in the NBA.
Let's. I hope that he does well, and I'm sad that he left, but it's for the best. But anyway, we're going to get into the Kentucky Auburn game.
Real quick on Khalil Whitney.
Go ahead.
The whole team got better, and he didn't.
That's true.
Everyone improved.
Him, not so much.
I actually think he got worse.
Yes.
As the season went on.
Well,
he went a whole month without getting a basket.
I read something where every minute that he was in, Kentucky got outscored by 34 points. Like, for every minute that he was in, they just scored more. So that just goes to show, like, how good of a defense we had without him on the court. When we had him on the court, they were scoring points. And I didn't realize that. And then I went back and watched some film, and I saw he would just let them get to the basket. Like, he would not try to go up and block them or anything. He had somewhat good perimeter defense, which I respect, because Kentucky needed that. But, like, when they drove to the basket, it was just a free basket for them at that point.
Yeah, it was. But,
You live and you learn. I hope the best for them.
And not everybody who, commits here gets their diploma or finishes.
Exactly.
So.
Exactly. He's a one and done, but he's kind of a half and done.
No, he's not even half. He's like a 40% done.
Yes, exactly. He's still got the tournament left to go.
So
all right. ESPN's Basketball Power Index has Auburn with a 66.6% chance to win.
666.
They got the devil on their side, so they better watch their ass.
Auburn's a 3-point favorite, and the money line is at -165 for them. The over/under is at 143. So that would be what, 68, 65?
Something like that.
That's what it is. That sounds about right.
Yeah, I was thinking about this in the chat because I always think of like the score predictions before we do the podcast. And I always shower the morning before. I always think of what the score will be, and I'll say my score later on towards the end of the podcast. But let's just get into some of these stats real here, and right here, excuse me. And as you can see, it's mainly Nick Richards and Ashton Hagans. That's all it is. Nick Richards he's a front runner for SEC Player of the Year. Which, if you would have told me before this season that Nick Richards would win SEC Player of the Year, I would think you're high as hell. Just I didn't not meaning that he's not good or that he's bad, but it's the fact that he has been not good or bad the past couple of seasons. Last year's, and I say this because I love EJ Montgomery. I say this with all due respect. Last year's Nick Richards is this year's EJ Montgomery. This year's Nick Richards will be next year's EJ Montgomery, I think. It's a bold prediction, but I think the way that and Kenny Payne, he coaches the bigs a lot. So seeing him work with Nick Richards and seeing the improvement, I don't see how EJ Montgomery can't. And I see EJ improving each and every game too, so that's a good sign to come. However, Nick Richards,
EJ did not start off the year well at all.
He did not. I will admit that he was a little rusty.
But I don't know what happened with Nick Richards, but he just kind of woke up.
Yeah.
And started playing the way that he got brought here to.
Yes.
Because my freshman year, Nick Richards, no. Then last year, there were times where he would show glimpses of being good, but then 2 minutes later, he'd make you rip your hair out.
And that's the thing too is we had a big front court last year. We had PJ Washington, Reed Travis, who was a monster, love him to death. He was a great player for us. We had our number one recruit, EJ Montgomery, not the number one overall, but our number one, and Nick Richards, who PJ and Nick Richards, they were returning sophomores, and Reed Travis was he was a grad transfer. So we obviously had experience with our front court, and we still do to this day.
And Nick wasn't producing near as much as the other guys.
Exactly.
So we kind of got caught in the caught in the depth chart.
Oh yeah, without a doubt. He's averaging 14.4 points per game right now, 67.3% field goal percentage, which is second in the SEC.
He's best on the team.
And a 73% free throw percentage, which I respect that for a big, because compared to last year, I think he missed at least, I think he was 50% from the line, just because he was always that bad at the free throw line. So I respect his game for what he's doing. He's averaging 8.3 rebounds per game, 6 defensive and 2 offensive, almost 3. It's 2.8. And then Ashton Hagens with 7.2 assists per game, 3 turnovers per game, but that's to be expected when the ball's in your hand 34 minutes a game. So, and compared, so we got Dowdy for Auburn. We got Wiley and McCormick. So Dowdy's leading in points, 14.8. However, he only has a 39.4% field goal percentage and a 74% free throw percentage. So he's I think that he's a guard too. So it seems like he is shooting a lot. So for every 3 that he makes, he misses 2 more. So that kind of plays in favor for us too, because we've gotten a lot better with perimeter defense. And Texas Tech shows. Wiley, their center, is averaging 9 rebounds a game, 3 offensive rebounds, so that's going to be tough for us. And McCormick, who is averaging 4.7 assists and only 2 turnovers, but he's only playing 30 minutes per game. So, Wyatt, just from hearing those stats, what do you think Kentucky has to do to stop Auburn today?
They got to get off to a fast start. When you're playing in an environment such as this, they had this when they played against Arkansas and Texas Tech. You got to get off to a fast start and kind of get the crowd out of it. We can't come out of the gate and I'll say this: at the 15-minute mark of the first half, into the first TV timeout, we can't be losing 13-4.
Yeah, no.
That has to be kind of the other way around. So getting off to a fast start is important, and I also think that, I think Kentucky should have the size advantage down low in this game, because Auburn, or at least last year's Auburn team, was a very good 3-point shooting team. And,
they were insane from the 3.
Yeah, and it looks like Nick Richards is basically having his way with everyone.
Yes.
So another thing that we're going to have to make sure we do is we cannot get lazy on on rebounding.
Yeah.
That's what killed us in the South Carolina game, and that's when these teams come back, like in the Arkansas game.
Yeah.
When these teams come back, it's not because it's not because they're better than us.
Yeah.
It's because we're getting lazy on rebounding.
It's like they're trying harder.
It's second chance points that killed us. It cost us South Carolina.
Fast break scores too. Those we're somewhat decent on the fast break, but when they get ahead of us, they're gonna score. Yeah. That's the only thing. Like Nick Richards can pin the ball up against the backboard as much as he wants, and I hope he does. However, if he's not down the court fast enough, they're gonna score. It's as plain as simple. So my keys to stopping them are. Take more charges. When Nick Richards did that in the Louisville game, and EJ Montgomery does it a lot too. They are big guys. They are stout. It'll look like even if it was a bad call, it'll make it look like we're a tough team. And we are a tough team. For that matter, we're very strong. We're very capable of pulling down rebounds that we're not supposed to get. And I think if we take a lot more charges and make our free throws, I think this game is ours. Because I think we have the playmaking abilities and the shooting to win this game. And we also have to stop their three-point shooting. Because it appears that Doughty is shooting from the line so many times. He's averaging 14.8 points per game. Say that 3 times fast. And but with a 40% field goal percentage, that's not great at all by any means. Especially with Nick Richards' 67.3% field goal percentage. That plays in our favor. So we just have to make baskets, and I think if we draw charges, we'll be in great company. We also have to avoid fouls as well. Like you said earlier, we get into foul trouble very quickly. And if they're in the bonus by the first TV timeout, we're in trouble. So avoid fouls, take as many charges as possible, and just score the damn ball.
It should be worth noting, Auburn has not lost a home game this year.
Yeah, they've only lost 2 games.
They've lost 2 games. They lost at Alabama and they lost at Florida.
Yeah.
But at home, they are undefeated.
That's right.
Currently won 3 in a row. They beat South Carolina at home, they beat Iowa State at home, and they beat Ole Miss. Beat Ole Miss by 1 point.
And that's something to note too, because Ole Miss, I was watching them in the LSU game, and they looked awful. I
feel like Ole Miss, down there, playing in Oxford, I feel like that's deceptively hard.
Yeah, okay.
Because didn't we almost lose to them last year down there?
Yes, yeah.
Yeah, we only beat them by a couple points.
Yeah, exactly. No, it was rough to watch too. But
we beat Auburn last year.
We beat them by, I think it was 81-80.
Yeah,
is what we beat them by, and that was a big PJ and Reed Travis game, that game, and
because I remember watching that one. It was really close.
Yeah, it was really close.
That was a game day one too, wasn't it?
I think yes, it was, because I think a lot of them picked Auburn to win that game, because Auburn they were ranked ahead of us at that point. I'm pretty sure. I think they were undefeated. We were their first loss, and then they kind of just downgraded up until March Madness.
Up until the SEC tournament.
They destroyed Tennessee. That was insane.
I think, this is kind of off topic, but in that SEC tournament last year, Tennessee, I guess they kind of were like, oh, we beat Kentucky. We might as well. We basically just won the whole thing.
Yeah, exactly. That's anytime somebody plays Kentucky's and beats them, it's their Super Bowl.
Because up until last year, we'd won the SEC tournament 4 years in a row.
Oh yeah, no.
So
it's that was a tough loss last year too. We should have won. I think we could have won too.
Man,
I hate losing.
That drove me up a wall.
Yeah,
because it was we had an 8-point lead with 5 minutes left and we lost.
Yeah. Well, we went to overtime too. That's the
overtime.
Yeah, that's the rough thing too. Is we could have had it too, but I think someone fouled out, and I want to say it was Reed Travis who fouled out. So that's when we had to have EJ and Nick step up, and I don't think they were ready in overtime to do that, especially carrying the load that he could. Because the one that can shoot out of those two is EJ, and EJ is not very accurate from 3, like Reed Travis was. And Reed Travis very, very rarely shot
last
the ball.
year, EJ had the worst luck with referees. Anytime he would step in, it felt like they
oh
gave
yes,
the ball. It was horrible.
No, it was awful. But let's see, the past 5 games Kentucky's played, they've won 4 out of 5. They've won 8 out of their last 9, like you mentioned earlier.
Yep.
Beat Texas Tech in overtime. The Ole Miss game for Auburn went into double overtime, and they still only won by 1 point. So that's something to keep in mind right there. And they only scored 83 points. So they played 50 minutes of basketball. And we scored 83 points. Whereas we scored 89 points against Georgia, who is a much better opponent than Mississippi. Ole Miss, excuse me.
Well, I don't know if that's a fair comparison.
It is not a fair comparison.
I don't think it's a fair comparison just because Auburn blew out Georgia when they played them.
That's true. That is true.
So I don't know. I think this game, like, I think it's going to be a really tough game. I think this is going to be. I think this will be a tougher game than the Arkansas game, because I think Auburn's a better basketball team and they're better coached than Arkansas.
Yeah.
Not to mention, Auburn historically has been known for football, but when their basketball team gets good, they'll show out in droves.
Oh yeah, no, it's
it'll be a really tough place to win.
I really respect Auburn too.
Yeah,
they're a very good program. I like them in football. I like them in basketball. With Bruce Pearl coaching them, it's obviously gonna be tough no matter who you face. However, I think those losses against Florida and Alabama, I think those have stuck with them because they don't score as much ever since they've lost those games. It seems like. So let's see, they're averaging 80, so which is pretty good. But in those losses, they scored 64 points and 47 points. So if they score, they're gonna win. That can go for everybody.
First one to 70.
Exactly. Yeah. KSR does the thing. The first one to get to 71 points is going to win the game.
I think in college basketball, like 80%, over 80% of the time, the first one to get to 71 wins.
Yeah, exactly. Like it rarely happens if you get to 71 second that you win. So whoever gets 71 first is going to win this damn game. And I think it'll be Kentucky. I'm going to give my score prediction right now. I think Kentucky wins 79-76 with the margin. I'm going to do the margin of error. I'm going to do the margin of error plus or minus 4.
So you're saying that
we can win by 7 or we can lose by what? Wait, hang on. 79. We can win by 7 or we can lose by 3.
Okay.
Lose by 1. Excuse me. Lose by 1.
I really don't know who to pick for this because I don't know. Let me look 1 second.
I only say this because Kentucky knows how to win on the road. We have only lost 1 road game, and that was a fluke to South Carolina.
I think we're good for 1 more road loss this season, and I don't think it comes this week. I think if we're going to lose 1 more road game, it'll come next week when we play Tennessee. Just because I don't have faith in any of our programs whenever we go down to Knoxville.
No, it's
bad.
Yeah,
it's bad. But I think I'm gonna go Kentucky on this one too. I'm gonna say 70-64 plus or minus 3.
I like it. So you can win by 9 or 3.
Yeah.
Yep. I like it. I like it a lot.
By the way, last year, whenever I do this plus or minus thing, I would get it right just about every time.
I still to this day am so amazed by when you pick the Tennessee score. Because you said plus or minus 9, right?
No, I said...
we would win by 9, but plus or minus...
No, I said we were going to win by 15. I said plus or minus 2 and win by 17.
That's what it was. I don't know why I was thinking 9. But
y'all were picking close games. I'm like, y'all are crazy. They're going to blow this team out.
I'm still amazed by that was... I'm still shocked by
It's the same thing with football. I can tell you who's going to win before the game even starts.
Exactly. You've only been wrong once, and that was against Tennessee.
Even then, I didn't say, "Oh, we're going to win today." I wasn't I didn't wake up that day and
you didn't feel a win.
Yeah, I can feel. I know.
You told me in the stadium before kickoff that we were going to win, but that's I think that was also we were all hyped up for it.
Yeah.
I understand that. So
the battle.
So it's gonna be a tough battle here in Auburn. Respectable program though. Can't say that I hate them. Am I disappointed that we lost them in the Final Four last year? Yes, but it's a brand new season and it's a brand new team, and I think we're a lot more physical than they are. So it's gonna be a tough road game, but Kentucky's used to that at this point. I think the only games we've lost are at home, 1 on the road, which was a fluke buzzer beater, and 2 neutral site games in Las Vegas. So I think we can get the job done. I don't see why we can't. I think we're riding a wave of momentum, especially with the fact that Nick Richards is playing out of this world, and Emmanuel Quickly can shoot every three imaginable, no matter where on the court, especially in half court. If you saw the Texas Tech game, so we got about 15 more minutes here. We want to talk a little bit of football news since we haven't talked about that. So, Wyatt, I'll let you take this segment away, and then we'll wrap it up and we'll go get some food before the game.
For those of you that don't know, there was a little speculation of Vince Marrow going to coach at Youngstown State in FCS school in Ohio, where he's from. But yesterday he said that he was going to stay at Kentucky, which is a really big deal for us because he's been the one that's been bringing in, the recruits that we've been seeing on the field now.
He's the reason we have Joey Gatewood.
It's the reason we had Joey Gatewood, and he's also signing day coming up. We've signed most of our guys, but our last big target is Michael Drennan from Ohio. And
that's a very, very gettable kid too.
Yeah, I think I actually got it hooked up right now on 24/7. But the crystal ball projects that he's going to come here. Yeah. He's been pretty hush hush on his on the recruiting, but he's not. We don't land a guy like him without Vince Marrow.
Exactly,
which is the point. And Vince Marrow's also, he's only the tight ends coach, but he's one of these. But he's also kind of like the rock of our. He's kind of like the rock of our team because he has a very blue collar attitude.
Yes.
Similar to Stoops, and that's kind of how we.
Both Ohio boys too.
Yeah. Well, you don't mess with those boys in Youngstown.
No.
He's kind of got that blue collar attitude, like, we don't take it from anybody. And that's kind of how we've molded our program. The attitude of our program, if that makes sense.
No, yeah.
I feel like I'm rambling, but.
No, and you're totally right, too. That's the thing is, like Vince Marrow, he is the heart of our offense, it seems like. Obviously you got, the players in the field, but those players wouldn't be those players without the offense and the offensive coordinator with Eddie Gran. Eddie Gran and Vince Marrow play a huge role together whenever they're on. Because I always see them together too. Like they're like with like what plays they're gonna come up with, who they're gonna get it to, and it's just to have his presence back and just like his leadership too. It's
really important. Kentucky is so grateful for that. It seems like him, Mark Stoops, Eddie Gran, just the entire offensive staff. We're very proud to have. And we had the most. What was it? Correct me if I'm wrong. We had the most rushing yards in the SEC. Like, not even by one player, but like as a team. Like, we had to have.
Like almost like 3,000, 4,000 yards.
We had to have.
Like
because we started playing. We started Bowden at quarterback in the Arkansas game, which was 6 games into the season, I think.
It was
game 6.
Yeah.
And then we played the rest of the regular season, and we also played the bowl game with him. And in our last 2 games of the season, of the regular season, I know, between Louisville and UT Martin,
we had 500.
We had 500 each, so that's over 1,000 right there. And I think we had 400 in the Vanderbilt game.
Yes,
too.
yeah, we had that, and that was a lot of AJ or Christian Rodriguez.
Yeah. So Michael Drennan, he's a guy that in theory could be in the starting lineup or the general rotation come week 1.
What, for this upcoming year?
Yes.
As a freshman?
Yes. Wow. And I know that sounds crazy because we got a loaded room, but we're going to be a little. I wouldn't say.
You think they'll redshirt him? They did the entire freshman class last year.
They did, but if I had to make a guess, they'll probably put him at receiver, and I think we'll be a tiny bit thin at that position.
We're going to need receivers bad because even when we had receivers, most of them are graduated or going to the draft now.
By the way, I did hear that Travis Tisdale, one of our running backs, is he will probably be taking kick returns next year.
Yeah.
Which is really
That'd be nice.
Which is a big deal because he was like a track star in high school.
Yeah.
He probably runs close to a 4.3.
We need that. We need that big time. I can't wait for football season already. The Super Bowl is tomorrow, and it's the Saints aren't in it, obviously, but
it's not the same.
It's just. I mean, baseball season's coming up, which is very exciting as always. I always love watching baseball, but there's nothing more better than the excitement of waking up on a Saturday morning, turning on Game Day or SEC Nation, and then the next hour watching a football game, college football game, and then going to one too. It's an experience like no other, and I just can't wait for it to be back. Basketball is great. I'm going to cherish it, but
let's figure out how many days like college football. First day is what? September 5th?
Mm-hmm.
Days until September 5th. 217 days. So
the countdown begins, or it has begun.
Let's divide that by 7. See how many weeks it is. 217 divided by 7. That is, if I had to make a guess, that's going to be around. Yeah, it's 31. It's 31 weeks. So we got 31 weeks. What we do have going for us, though, is we got the spring game coming up, and we'll get to see some of the early rallies.
I might get to film that.
I'm looking forward to that spring game.
I am too.
I really am. I wasn't able to go last year, but I really want to go this year because I think that there's going to be a lot of talent in the showcase.
I can't wait for it. It's just to see the class that we have, and just to see a little bit of what Bo Allen can do too. I'm really excited because I was really excited on Bo Nix at Auburn. I'm really excited for Bo Allen at Kentucky just because it's like he's not Bo Nix. I'm not going to say that because Bo Nix is he's talented as hell. I'm not saying Bo Allen isn't, but just because he's so young, he's still trying to fit in with the program. Whereas Bo Nix, he was the first year starter. He's a true freshman.
Mm-hmm.
Bo Allen won't be in that situation. So it's just going to be nice to really see how he develops and what we can see as a starting point for him in the spring game. It's going to be really fun.
So, one final thing on football. Going into next season, this is going to be the first time, maybe in Kentucky football history, that we've had this much depth at every position on defense.
No,
we're at least 2 or 3 deep at every spot, and that's a great problem to have.
Yeah,
of all the problems to have, you're 3 deep at every spot.
Yeah, exactly.
And they're all good.
Yeah, no, they're talented out the ass.
So our secondary is going to be a legion of boom.
Yeah, no,
you're looking at, you figure you're gonna have Brandon Nichols, Kelvin Joseph, but we don't even know where he's gonna play because I've heard corner. Boss Man Fat. By the way, his stuff does go hard. Have you ever listened to it? It's good.
I listened to it with you a little bit.
It's good.
It's good stuff. It's good stuff.
So
Bowden loves it too.
Yeah. Then we're also gonna have. I don't know if they're gonna play him, but the kid that's from Louisiana, the one that he brought here.
Who?
The safety, the defensive back. I can't remember his name, but
typing it rapidly.
But the point is, we're gonna have.
We're gonna be nasty.
We're loaded at defense. This has the capability of being the best defense that even better than the 2018 defense.
We had a first rounder in the top 10 draft, Josh Allen. So I really can't wait to see what this does. And we're gonna have a lot of new leadership too, because we don't have Lynn Bowden on the offense and we don't have Cash Daniel on the defense. Which, I could do without Cash Daniel on the defense. This year he was not all that great. If we had junior year Cash Daniel's leadership, man, that'd be scary stuff. But we still have a lot of key players. We got DeAndre Square returning, who I think is going to make noise this season. I see his progression. He already looks bigger than what he did at the Belk Bowl, and that's just from working out and hitting the gym more and more. And he already looks like in prime position to be a dirtier linebacker. We got our secondary, who's growing with experience. We obviously lost Jordan Griffin, However, we still have Brandon Eccles, Yusuf Corker. We have all sorts of weapons in that situation as well. And also with Kelvin Joseph coming in from LSU, that's gonna be amazing. We also have Xavier Peters as well too, so I can't wait to see.
Xavier Peters is in my journalism class.
Yeah, you tell me.
By the way, in my new major with communication, I have so many guys. I have so many football guys in my classes now. Like Joey Gatewood's in 2 of my classes.
I'm in a group. Like we have to do group work, and let me get my phone because I want to see what is. I think his last name is Lawson. I think. And I think he's one of the freshmen that we got. Let me look on my Canvas app. Not a sponsor, but let me find this. But
not a sponsor.
Yeah. But yeah, let me just find it. Lawson.
You mean one of the new guys that moved in?
Sean Lawson. Yeah.
I've never heard that name.
I think he's a redshirt freshman upcoming now. So, but I'm in a group with him. So whoever he is, I hope he's cool. But, why you got any last thoughts? Because we got to eat and watch this game. So.
Yep.
Isaac's hungry.
So, this university and the athletics that are in it have a lot going for it.
Yes.
Last night I went to the swim meet when we played Cincinnati. We blew them out.
Oh yeah.
It wasn't even close.
Yeah. No, it was awesome.
There will literally be events where we were 1, 2, 3.
Yeah.
What is that?
Well, we did that with track too, and we and gymnastics. Granted, we had Florida yesterday in a meet, and they beat us by I think 1 point. I think, which is
but Florida's number 2 or something.
Yeah, they were the number 2 in the nation, whereas Kentucky was 12th, I think. But even regardless, but losing by 1 or 2 points is a lot though in gymnastics. I've learned, when the score was 197 to 196. I'm like, well, Kentucky did pretty good. But that's out of 200 too. So, they were 3 away from being perfect. We were 4 away. So you have to be literally perfect on everything in order to beat this team. It seems like. So,
yeah.
But and even the women's basketball team, they're ranked 13th, and they've only lost I think 3 games. I think. So they have a lot going for them as well. Just this entire program, it's a wonderful time to be in UK athletics.
Yep.
So.
We got a lot going for us. Got a lot of hype going into football next year, and we also have we got a basketball team that's getting a lot better. So that's all I got. You got anything else?
I think we're good. Just go Cats, and I hope we can pull it out of Auburn today. So, we have Mississippi State. We have a late game on Tuesday night, 9 p.m. against Mississippi State. I always love going to watch Mississippi State games because they always seem to win whenever I watched in Mississippi State games while I'm at the Mississippi State games. Football this year, we'll disregard that. But I'm really excited to see what this program can do with this incredible young basketball team, and I just can't wait for another 20 more minutes. It's gonna be fun. So.
Oh yeah.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, we appreciate you listening to the Zero Respect podcast as always. We'll try to come out with a new episode. Try to do it every weekly. We're trying to still figure out our schedules and whatnot.
Might come out with a new podcast too.
That's true. We got a lot more stuff coming up. It's gonna be very fun stuff. So just stay tuned and thank you for listening as always. Wyatt, got anything else?
That's all. I don't have anything else.
All right. Well, ladies and gentlemen,
shout out to Joel Williams. That's who I was thinking about.
There we go. You found it. There we go. Researching. So let's
investigative journalism.
Yes, that's right. That's right. Not muckraking, but
not yellow journalism.
No. None of this World War II stuff.
Yeah.
So
pre-World War I.
Yes. But ladies and gentlemen, we do appreciate you listening as always, and we just want to thank you for all the love and support that you give us, and just go Cats. So we appreciate you.
Roof. Did you get the parking at the end?
I did.
Oh, good.
Yeah.